Hey, this is Abby from Adventurous Advocates, and welcome back to another Adventurous Thursday. I'm so excited you've joined me today. We're at BOK Towers here in Lake Wales, and we are excited to have a nature-based adventure. We're going to explore a beautiful bell tower, fish feeding, a children's play area, and so much more. So if you love Florida wildlife, seeing beautiful scenery, and having lots of fun, you're going to love today. Stay tuned. Located about 30 miles away from Legoland, BOK Towers is an amazing escape from the noise and the excitement of the theme park. So if you are on vacation and your little ones or you have just had so much that they can handle of people and noise and chaos and fun and excitement, and you need to dial it down a bit but still have a great time and see lots of cool things, BOK Towers is perfect. So here they also have, just to let you know, accommodations to help you enjoy this facility. They do have ECV and wheelchair rentals, which we'll get to in a second. They also have two different autism packets. They have a children's map to show you where all the cool fun things for children to do are, as well as an adult map to show you all the different trails and scenery and options available to you. They offer day and annual passes, and I'm excited to share all that with all of you. Their adult maps are kind of neat because it has obviously the hours of operation as well as an inside diagram of what the tower looks like, but it also talks to you a lot about the man who created this and gives you a little back history of each of the areas and the individual. If you flip it over, it gives you a map of the estates you can tour, as well as the towers and the full garden grounds. And what's really cool is it tells you a little bit about each section at the bottom, and it has a nice little legend over here and a visitor's guide. So they do not offer any accommodations for individuals with visual or hearing limitations, but they do offer two different autism packets that we will show you shortly. BOK Towers has started offering an amazing opportunity for individuals with autism. They now have autism care packages that are provided by CARD of Florida. So let's take a look. Friendly exploration packages come in these nifty little bags that have ease of carry options. They come with PEX cards for communicating needs and wants and numbers, which is very cool. Has also ways to ask important questions that are pertinent to this exploration. It also comes with creative coloring packets. You actually get to keep the color packet, and that can help with overstimulation, or if they need to detach and just focus on something to help with anxiety, but they just enjoy coloring. And then they have a fidget, which is very cool. It's an oil fidget that is for visual stimulation and regulation. And they have the earmuffs for noise cancellation because the bells do go off every 15 minutes. Sunglasses, and a very awesome how-to sheet on how to contact CARD and how to use all these important fidgets to maximize your individual with autism's experience within BOK Towers. So the earmuffs and the sunglasses do have to be returned, but the fidget and the coloring book are yours to keep. So this is a really neat offering. They don't have to offer it, and it's exciting that they're trying to make the experience more inclusive for families with a family member that has autism. Another thing to note is that with the autism packets, you also get a complimentary mobility cart. So it is actually a really great deal. So if your individual has difficulty with depth perception, knowing where they are in space, or having a tolerance of walking long distances and periods of time, you can get a free rental. You do have to present it at the gift shop, but it does come inside the amazing backpacks. We also discovered that not all the backpacks have the same fidgets. We have a handheld fidget as well that moves and clicks and is very cool.
Tower houses the 60-bell Caroline, one of the world's finest. The dairy's Art Deco design won the American Institute of Architects' top award, harmonizing a seamless marriage between architecture and landscape. Edward Bach's only instructions were that the tower must be beautiful and reflect nature. Pelicans, songbirds, rabbits, tortoises, fox, eagles, herons, and many other creatures adorn the tower. Madeira brought with him 3 skilled artisans to assist in the tower's creation. Sculptor Lee Laurie is best known for his sculpture of Atlas at Rockefeller Center in New York City. J.H. Dulles Allen created the colorful tile grills that surround the bell chamber. And the intricate but massive wrought iron work is that of famed artist Samuel Yellen, whose work is represented at the Washington National Cathedral and other historic landmarks. Mirrored in the reflection pool is Yellen's crowning jewel, the incomparable brass door. Drawn from the Book of Genesis, 30 relief panels tell the story of creation. The magnificent 60-bell carillon was crafted by the John Taylor Bell Foundry of Loughborough, England. The bells are housed in a chamber 40 feet tall and 35 feet wide. Gert de Hollander from Belgium is recognized as one of the top carillonneurs in the world, and only the 4th resident carillonneur in the garden's history. During live concerts, watch de Hollander perform on a closed-circuit television in a seating area just northwest of the tower, or enjoy the concert from one of many quiet benches found throughout the gardens.
Can you hear the bells? They sound off on the hour. The beautiful bells and the music are actually played from within the tower. Right now they do not have someone in residency playing live, so the computer is controlling the clackers, but the bell tower is actually making this music. And down here is where you can feed the fish. Do you see look how large those koi fish are. The kids really get a kick out of it, but I would warn you, if there is water in Florida, there is a chance there is a gator, so do not get your kids too close to the edge. I would suggest they stay where the wood chips are at the very least. But just as the video described, look at those ornate carvings on the door in gold that show the story of Genesis. It's very cool. And the beautiful marble detailing. This tower would be worth coming here just for this alone.
On February 1st, 1929, Edward Bok's dream of creating a place that would touch the soul with its beauty and quiet was realized. President Calvin Coolidge, joined by a host of dignitaries and honored guests, dedicated BOK Tower Gardens. Created as a bird sanctuary, the Gardens is a designated site on the Great Florida Birding and Wildlife Trail. Walk the Pine Ridge Preserve through a pristine longleaf pine forest abounding with wildflowers, where you may see one of our resident gopher tortoises. Sit at the window by the pond to watch ducks and wading birds in a Florida wetland setting, where nature's show is always changing.
Another fun thing about the towers is how used to people the wildlife are. So this little squirrel is literally so close I could reach out and touch him, but he's just sitting there calmly, probably a little bit attentively, but he's so adorable. The wildlife is part of the reason I love this place. Wave hi, little squirrel. This is called a pond with a window, and here you can sit and enjoy the benches. They've got it next to windows that are open. It gets a nice breeze, and you can see the herring and the gators and all sorts of butterflies and birds and wildlife. And so it's comfortable, it's relaxing, and it's just a place to sit and let nature happen right in front of you.
Conservation is key to our mission. As part of a nationwide network of 39 botanical gardens that participate in the Center for Plant Conservation, our Rare Plant Conservation Program works to conserve rare native plants. Our region's unique geological history has created an ecosystem that is home to one of the greatest concentrations of endangered plants in the nation. 48 rare species are found on the Lake Wales Ridge, and nowhere else in the world. You can see many of these plants in our endangered plant garden.
The view off the edge of the gardens associated with the towers is just absolutely breathtaking. I do not think you could possibly pick up on all the beauty of it just on camera. it just gives you the impression of being able to see for miles. And in the summer, it looks a little browner, but in the winter, it's very lush and green and relaxing.
Hammock Hollow Children's Garden has a native Florida character and is a place to learn through play. Children can climb on, under, and through natural structures while creating art and learning more about nature. This garden brings art and nature together with a vital connection between plants and animals and people.
I wanted to give you guys a brief look at the children's map. There are a lot of things for children to do. There's several playgrounds, there is a sand pit, and there are several specialty gardens designed just for kids, things that they could plant, things that they'll understand or may have encountered. And there's also a lot of really cool interactive opportunities as far as like rubbing stations where you can do crayon impression rubbings and find little mystery objects and things like that. So check this out. This is really cool. Once you enter the children's garden, you will find restrooms, an area where they host food events, and a really cool little hole the kids can crawl through called the Hammond's Hollow that leads to an incredible sand pit. Now they are actually trying to promote a love of indigo snakes because indigo snakes are not harmful or poisonous, and they can do a lot of good as far as warding off unwanted bugs and predators. And so they did design the sand pit in the shape of an indigo snake for that reason. My children love this. It's shaded, it's covered. After you've walked around for a little bit, a chance just to dig and play and relax is a really nice opportunity here. Next we have Riverwalk Path, which is a set of gardens that also have a splash pad element for those who can get wet. I do not recommend taking your ECV through it, but children who need to cool off and adults who are feeling young at heart and very warm can go in here. It usually has more, there we go, throughout different things will spout out of these rocks. Usually they have several going at once, but it looks like today there's just, I don't know if you can see them, there's 3 on this side and 1 over here. They will alternate which ones are on. It's loads of fun. One of the incredible all-natural playgrounds. They actually use a lot of materials out of nature, so they repurpose wood for the wind chimes and the instruments. They put logs for kids to climb on and use them as balance beams. And it's really actually a neat way to show how you can turn your backyard into an all-natural playground and garden. It's called the Foxton. It's meant for climbing and balance and just good old-fashioned, recycled, all-natural fun. We come upon the fairy gardens where they have examples of different fairy circles and fairy houses. And I don't know if you can see them back there. They also have some shaded seating, which is really, really nice when you've been hot and walking around and you just want to let your kids play and run about. And up there in that circle over there, there's a lot more. Here is the rest of the fairy houses and gardens, as well as a Misty Moore replication, which is fun. And back there they have a nest that the kids can play in and pretend they're birds. And if your kids like to play with water and enjoy scooping and pouring and using old-fashioned water retrieval systems, then this is for you. Especially if maybe you're not in the mood for a splash pad, but you do want to let them get their hands and feet wet, or in this case, pour it on themselves. Given the name of our channel, it should be no surprise that one of my favorite things here is the adventure guide. And this is not just for children. This actually is geared for entire families. And what it is it's a guidebook where you can play an entire educational game through the park. And it allows you to collect and find different clues, to look through the parks and see if you can find these things and answer these fun questions, and then take them back to guest services when you are done. So they have stickers and different fun little things for the kids, but this is a great way as a family to come and not, you know, if you like hiking around, that's great, that's incredible. But if you kind of need something, a goal towards, or feel like you're doing something a little more when you're at the gardens, this is a really cool option. It's an adventure guide and it is very fun.
This area is a hub for horticultural and culinary programming, showcasing lifestyle gardening and the culinary arts.
One kind of neat feature of the gardens is that they have a section called Backyard Bramble, where they have papaya trees that can be grown in Florida backyards, all sorts of flowers, and things that Florida pollinators love. So you can actually roll through different plants that you can use to construct your beautiful and green, lush habitat that's pollinator friendly.
Make your world a bit better, or more beautiful, because you have lived in it. Edward BOK. No man has the right to leave the world no better than he found it. He must add something to it. Either he must make its people better and happier, or he must make the face of the world fairer to look at. Edward BOK.
Welcome to BOK Tower Gardens, a place like no other. A National Historic Landmark, nestled among rolling hills of citrus, atop one of Peninsular Florida's highest points. Edward W. BOK retired from publishing and dedicated his life to conservation, the arts, world peace, and philanthropy. In the early 1920s, during visits to his winter home in the nearby Mountain Lake community, he enjoyed evening walks to the top of Iron Mountain.
And here we are at the beautiful Pinewood Estates. These gates signify that you have reached the house that can be toured out here. They do actually offer tours, but not on a regular basis and not on a daily basis. So you will have to contact guest services if you would like one scheduled for a homeschool group or to see the days at which they will have a guide available. Pre-COVID, they had many more tours and assistance, but they said post-COVID that this is not always a daily thing. So if you stop here, it will discuss with you how the Olmsted Pinewood Estates came to be, who owns it, and how long they lived here. So this is kind of cool. This house actually used to be a part of a whole mountain lake community where there was a golf course. It was purchased and repurposed, and this land was built specifically for this location and in these gardens. And so that is actually kind of a cool thing. And you can't see it when you first get here, but once you turn the corner, do you see it peeking through right there? It's right there. Now, I will tell you that you cannot take your ECV through this, and there are stairs. You can get up closer. Let's get a look. Okay. Can get up closer, but you cannot go through it if you are wheelchair ECV bound. This estate blows my mind with the beauty of the construction and the size of it and all the detailing that went into it and how well it stood up over time. But the staircases down here and the walkways that lead, you can walk all the way through there to a courtyard, but not if you need an entrance that does not involve stairs. So they also will sometimes show you the rooms and discuss with you who live there and what they believe occurred in each of these rooms and things like that. So it is kind of fun to take the tour and all those kind of things when it is available. But they will also talk to you about the gardens, the gentleman who was the architect, and much more. So, but for now, we will do what we're able to do, which is cruise around it and see the beauty of it from the outside. I think it's still fun to step back in history and see things from this perspective as well. So even though we can't go inside, we can get pretty close. Look at this. This would have been the garage, the front entrance. Can you imagine living here when they didn't have air conditioning in the 1920s? And back there's the gardens with the pools.
At 298 feet above sea level, the natural beauty of this hilltop was a place of serenity from which he observed breathtaking sunsets. BOK's dream was to preserve these grounds as a sanctuary for future generations. With an enduring love of nature and music, he called upon famed landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted Jr. in 1922 to design a meditative garden that celebrates Florida's native plants and birds.
I stand corrected, it was not a pool, it was a fountain I was hearing. And that is really pretty and relaxing. So we can go in the courtyard a little bit, and they have added a little bit of a modern touch in some of this, and this would be the back part of the grounds. Oops, let's take a little bit of a, there we go, that is much better. It is very rocky, so if you had a push wheelchair, I think this would actually be pretty difficult, but with an ECV, it's okay. So, okay. I love that they have gone to efforts to keep people out of it and preserve it, and that they keep it in such great condition. This is a redo of this section, so you can watch this one and seems like it's better, okay? So this is the backside of the Pinewood Estates. They've gone to great lengths to keep this area preserved and protected. And this is where their backyard would have been and their view. Beautiful towers and architecture. This is not actually great roads for a push wheelchair. It's very rocky, it's uneven. The stones catch on wheels, but if you have an ECV, you should be fine. And here is the beautiful fountain. So, I don't know if you can see back there, but let's zoom in a little bit. A very relaxing sound and beautiful design for a fountain.
The result is one of Olmsted's greatest achievements, a naturalistic masterpiece, respected for his defining work on the National Park System, as well as the designs of the National Mall, Jefferson Memorial, and the White House grounds. Olmsted sought inspiration for BOK's garden from the natural areas of Florida. At the center of Olmsted's design is BOK's majestic Singing Tower, designed by architect Milton B. Maderi.
One thing to keep in mind is that all of the sides of the towers do have a little bit different view and are unique and awesome in their own ways. But out here, you can have picnics, you can have a beautiful view over the overlook, you can fly kites, have an incredible family day. On the back of the tower, there is a magnificent sundial that if you are used to reading sundials, I'm sure you can tell the time on, but it also does have some very ornate decoration and detailing. It's kind of neat. They do hold food and wine events and various nighttime activities at the towers and the grounds, as well as weddings, but you have to schedule with their events coordinator and check their calendar on their website and Facebook, which we will link below, to know when all the events they've scheduled are and how to schedule your own event and activity and the costs associated with that. This is the side view of the tower, and it's just as breathtaking on this side as it was the front. As you enter, you see the BOK Tower sign and motto, "Make the world a better place and more beautiful because you have lived in it." And I love that. You also find some magnificent gardens and fountains. To your right is the shop where you can buy live plants back there and trees, which we'll go back there in a second, and all sorts of knickknacks and souvenirs. This is also the shop where you will rent the ECVs and wheelchairs, but let me show you where we will be picking them up. After you go to the store, you will turn directly to the right. and this is where you pick them up. So they do have an attachment for a bicycle. So if you have an individual who has difficulty walking or does need a wheelchair but you'd like to bike, you can rent that. You can also rent regular push wheelchairs and these ECV wheelchairs. Now I will say that there are a lot of areas here that are off path, so you'll be able to see most of it, but some of it may be slightly difficult when it goes into the grassy and sandy areas. So they do have this service available, but you may be a little limited as to what you can see if you rent one of these. Still, there's so much to see here that you will see enough to just really have a great time and a good experience. If you are looking for memorabilia or souvenirs that remind you of your visit to BOK Towers, they have some incredible ones here. Look at how beautiful these are, from coasters to pictures. They pretty much have it all. They also have an amazing selection of lotions and candles of natural and beeswax and all natural things. If you were looking for a BOK Towers souvenir, they have some really cool ones here. They have coasters and pictures and little, I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like a section from the tower, but it's actually something you can hang up in your home. So that's really fun and unique and special. They even have little stones. The thing I love about the store is how colorful it is. They have beautiful mosaic tiles of all the different animals that you can find here at BOK Towers. They also have a selection of lotions and soaps made from all natural and organic materials. That's really exciting and unique if you like to try new things and explore new scents. They also have ceramic birdhouses, night lights, walking sticks, and an incredible selection of educational books to learn all about the area and Florida bugs and wildlife, as well as the plants that you can purchase here and view at the garden. Something that you might not know if you didn't come in the gift shop, but you can actually, for $6, get a really cool souvenir bag with enough fish food for your child to enjoy, feeding a generous amount to the fish. Next to the pond, they do have the quarter pay that will dispense very small amounts, but if you would like a good bag with a free little souvenir with it, this is a good option for only $6. Behind the gift shop, they have an incredible selection of trees and plants, so that if you're inspired by what you see at BOK Gardens, you can take it home and recreate your own beautiful Florida landscape with many of the same offerings. At the back of the guest services building on the right is the cafe. They have sandwiches and chips and sodas and basic things like that. They are delicious and it is definitely worth a try. And behind the cafe, they have a variety of canopied seating areas. And this would be nice if you just wanted to come out here for a quiet lunch with friends, or if you wanted to come out and just have a walk around with your family and lunch after. It's a great experience and yummy food. Come in to the left, you have the museum, the guest services area, and this is where you can gather information about connecting with their homeschool coordinator for the educational activities and seeing the museum and watching the incredible video that we will show you in this episode. The employees were kind enough to let me know that you do not pay a deposit on the rentals, that all the rentals are the same amount, that they are $10 for an hour, and they are $30 for 4 hours and $60 for all day, but you must leave a valid driver's license to be able to rent any of their wheelchairs, ECVs, or bike wheelchairs. So that's kind of cool. They also wanted me to let you know that you can bring animals into BOK Towers and the surrounding garden areas. You just need to make sure that you have your own poop bags and you clean up after them. BOK Towers has an amazing museum that discusses the different ways it was built, the things associated with the individual who built it, and lots of models and details that you might not have noticed when just exploring the grounds. Let's go take a look. So it says, BOK Towers, one man's vision and his gift to the American people. This is very cool. I love how beautiful and intricate everything is here. Okay, so these were owned by Mr. Edward BOK, and some of the books that inspired him. It talks about BOK's early life. He won the American Peace Award. And here is an amazing little article about all the ways he gave back. In the museum, they have a replica model of BOK Towers, which is amazing. It doesn't have all the intricate designs that are all the way around it, but it is an overall aesthetic model, which is cool. And then they also have, and I think this is really incredible, an example of what it looks like inside the towers when they're playing the bells. So this is the contraption that the musician uses when he uses, it's much like an organ. He steps on the pedals and he uses the levers to activate each of the clackers on the bells. So that's kind of neat. The bells are not what moves in this musical instrument. The clackers are pulled and they bang against the side of the bells. So there is a small, medium, and large clacker. And here are the pictures that they provide you. One thing that they include that I think is kind of neat is that they include the merchandise that's been sold in the stores through the years. So these are different things that people back in the 1920s to present day might have purchased in the shop as a memory when they went home. That's kind of cool. So it's not just about the making and the people, but it's also about the visitors and the people who enjoyed it. This section is all about the tools that were used to create BOK Towers in the garden. And they also have some really interesting construction photos to show you what it looks like while it was being built. In this part of the exhibit, they have all the opening day celebration documents and information, as well as a picture of Mr. and Mrs. Edward BOK. And they have some of the items that were available on opening day. The visitor's book, the pen that was used, and the watch that was present, the signing of the initial nonprofit document. And then they have a cool little invitation to decoration sign. I totally said that wrong. Invitation to dedication. Apparently I can't talk today, but that's all right. We're having fun anyway. Now this I think is kind of neat. They actually have a picture of the gentleman playing the instrument. And then they have pictures of the actual bells and a little description. And then they have an example of the bell right there. Isn't that kind of cool? So the back section of the museum is dedicated to some of the challenges they faced while creating BOK Towers, and that was preserving the wildlife and some of the unique things, but they also encountered some wildfires, and they had to have some controlled burns to clear out some of the area, and they discussed how they did that and why they did that, and they talk about why fire is necessary to increase natural habitats and wildlife. And then this is kind of cool. In the center of the museum, they have an example of one of the carvings. This is a replica of a carving that you will see on BOK Towers. You can see the pelicans and the various birds. It's beautiful. If you do like the towers, you might be interested in a membership. So here is the breakdown of pricing and services for an individual, a family, a donor, a sponsor, and a sustainer. And it does over here discuss, sorry about the wind, all the different options and things these include. And under each, it also does tell you what you get as well. Hi guys!
Hi.
We met some amazing people here at BOK Towers, and we wanted to hear what they loved about this adventure.
We love everything.
You love everything.
Yeah. Me too.
Do you have a favorite part? Did you like the Pinewood Estates or the towers better?
The tower.
The towers. Could you believe all the different types of plants and gardens that they had?
A lot.
They did. They had an incredible amount. They also sell them behind the gift shop, which is kind of neat that you can get all those. Well, I am so excited that you guys shared your feelings, that you guys had a great day here. And I just want to thank you for taking a minute to let me know how cool you found it.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good day. We've had an amazing time at BOK Towers. There's been so much to see, but there's still more to explore, so we'll come back again shortly. Now, if you liked what you saw, drop your favorite thing in the comments. If you have an idea for another video, then also put that in the comments. But keep in mind, if you put something in the comments, keep watching, because we're definitely going to do a show about it. Also, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And until next time, stay adventurous.